What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I am your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast, we talk all about dating and relationships in this modern day. It is spooky season, so of course, I am going to make an episode on ghosting, something that we can all relate to, right? I just feel like everyone has had a time where they've been ghosted if you're obviously dating and whatnot. If you're married and maybe like it never happened to you, you just got lucky, congrats. This might not be the video for you, but I am here to break it down of what to do when you get ghosted, of why people ghost, and what to do when they come back. If you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button. Please leave comments. I love hearing from you guys. Wow. I love hearing from you guys. And I also, if you could leave a thumbs up, that'd be great. Let's get into it. I have had so many girlfriends hit me up recently and like probably within the past couple of months saying, oh my God, this guy ghosted me. So shitty of them. I went off on them and I am smacking my head against the wall. Like, why did you not consult me? This is not what we do when people ghost. This is the last thing that you want to do when a motherfucker ghosts you. We're not doing that anymore. I get it because the anger, the upsetness that you are, I don't think that's a word, but we're using it today. The fuel that you just want to get it out there and say, fuck you, like a big fuck you. Like, why did you ghost me? You piece of shit. Just be real with me. What happened? To get your closure, right? Like we all want that type of closure. It's normal, it's natural. And like, you kind of start to think like, so maybe something's wrong with me. Like what happened? Can you give me something so I can get over this and move on? But when someone ghosts, you have that closure that you need. It's someone saying to you, hey, you guys made plans to hang out and then that didn't happen. You know right away that that person is not a person of their word. And I can tell you one thing is that if they're not doing that in the very beginning stages of dating, when you do get into a relationship with this person, that same issue is going to repeat in your relationship and you are going to be absolutely miserable. So take it for what it is. That person left your life for a reason. And they are making a conscious effort to not be in your life anymore. So take it for what it is, leave the ghost at the grave, and move the fuck on. You got your closure. That is a form of closure of them not being true to their word and making all these crazy promises to you and then completely leaving your sight. That is... we don't like that. We're not chasing that. We don't need any more validation from this person. Fuck that person, move on. The thing is, I can totally understand where they're coming from of wanting to go off on that person and wanting to like get your type of closure that you want. I remember a time, this is probably the worst time that I've been ghosted, of a time where I met this guy. He was like everything that I wanted. He was very cute, very much into the same things. We liked the same type of music. We just had so much to talk about. Our very first date we went on, we literally just stayed up all night talking. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like obsessed with this guy. Like I have never felt this crazy connection to someone very first time meeting them. The next day, I don't hear from it. Or that night, he like texted me, made sure I got home safely. And I was like, cool, love that. The next day, I don't hear from him. And I'm like, okay, weird. Like, so I messaged him and did not hear anything back. I didn't hear anything back from him for months. Literally completely dropped me, did not talk to me at all. And I was so confused. Like, this was the most confusing ghosting situation that I've been in, because after the first date and the connection that I know that we both felt, I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck? I'm losing my fucking mind over this person. And I stayed up like thinking about like all of the things that went wrong, all of the things that maybe I said, and like overthinking the situation, completely overthinking, like, oh my God, like, but why would he not just tell me like, oh, I'm not feeling you, or, you know, just give me something. I'm reaching for something. Give me fucking something. And I got absolutely nothing. I sent him months later these like long ass texts about God knows what. I look back at it now and I fucking cringe because ew, I would never do that now. But I can understand why that would drive someone insane. Like wanting to go off on someone, but after dating a lot more after that, after like getting myself out there, I've realized this is why people ghost. I want to break down the 5 reasons, top 5 on why someone would ghost you. So number 1, and this is honestly kind of why I think this person ghosted me at the time, but because they were an avoidant attachment style. I know we've probably all heard about this if you're following like the dating stuff. We've all heard of the avoidant attachment style, but that person doesn't feel worthy of love, like, or any type of closeness at all. So once they get too close to someone, they start to pull away because it's uncomfortable for like a healthy relationship to form. Number 2, they don't like you. You are not the one. And they don't have it in them. They don't have the courage. They don't have the want to tell that to your face. I feel like a lot of men don't deal well with emotions. So if they're ghosting you and you kind of want an explanation, I feel like they're thinking in their heads that they're not going to take, this girl is not going to take well to my feedback, so I might as well just not tell her to begin with. So that could be it. But they weren't man enough to tell you. I'm cringing at number 3 already, but this word is so overused, so overdone. Narcissistic people is number 3. Because narcissists get off on making you fall in love with them. And once they won you over that little bit of vulnerability, they're on to the next person to try to win them over. This has nothing to do with you. They might not even like you, but the fact of them winning another person over and you falling for them drives them crazy. I hate that word now because like it's overplayed, overdone. Number 4, they wanted to use you, whether that be sexually, financially, whatever the case may be. They wanted to use you. And once they got what they needed, then they're done with you. Or on the flip side of that, if they didn't get what they were set out to, they think that it's too much effort. So they're just going to ghost. They're seeing someone else and they didn't want to tell you. Everyone nowadays has like this huge roster, apparently, allegedly. Bad truth is like, you might not be their top runner. And even though you might have them very high on your list, or maybe the only person that you have that you're talking to, they could potentially be talking to like 4 or 5 other people, and maybe you're just not the number 1 pick. And as hard of a pill that is to swallow, you got to keep it moving. So I know it sounds super easy, and like the first thing that you want to do when you get ghosted is to turn to Instagram and post all these cliche quotes about, like, fuck that person, like, me. But that is the last thing, and that is not going to bring them back at all. You running after them is not going to bring them back because clearly they want their space. So you chasing is never going to work out. Let them be, let them have their space, and don't say anything at all is the best approach. Because think about it on the other side. If you're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm feeling about this person, maybe that's the case. And someone is like so up your ass, like, I love you, please reach out to me. What have you been? Where are you? Like, what are you doing? It's so annoying. No one wants that. So the best thing to do is to match their energy and completely ghost back and move on, because they will be back inevitably. They usually do always come back. But the most immature thing that you can do is to go off on them, to be honest. That is like the sign of emotional immaturity. And we're not doing that anymore because it's just not worth the energy. And I get that you're mad and you're upset and you want to go off on someone, but it's not worth it. But here's what to do when they come back, because babe, they always come back. They literally always come back. If it's been a couple days span and you're still interested in them, I would just play it cool, like nothing ever happened. Give them this space, because I feel like there's a natural time in a relationship where someone will start to pull away just because things are getting a little bit more serious and they need some time to emotionally explore their own feelings. So if this is the case, you know, just allow them the time to feel what they're feeling. If it's really bothering you, say something about it, but keep it light, because this will say to them indirectly that I don't need you to fulfill every single one of my emotional needs. If you need a day or two off, you're not technically in a relationship, right? So allow them that space. Look, if it's bothering you after a couple of days, say something about it. If you're like, okay, whatever, it happens once, you're good. Maybe let it go for that one time. But if it happens again, then say something. Been a month or longer, that person wanted to leave that door open for you to, you know, I don't want to like let them down, because that means that I don't have the door open to come back in whenever I want. So if you're allowing someone to come back in your life after a month plus, maybe that's something that you need to think about. Like, you need to respect yourself. This is not allowed. You're not allowed to come back in my life like a revolving door. And, you know, fuck that person. But that is it for this week's episode. If there's one thing that you should know and maybe take away from this episode, is please do not go off on them when they do decide to ghost. It's going to happen to the best of us, and it has absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with their incapability of communication. And I hope you guys enjoy. Please hit that like, comment. I love hearing from you guys. And I will see you all next Tuesday.